everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Ray of Hope, the talk show and podcast with your hosts, Ray and Leslie.
Hey, Ray.
Hey, Leslie. We are back for season 4. It's been 4 years.
I know.
Who knew?
God.
God
knew.
He knew.
Oh, I missed that song.
You know, I was watching our old episodes when we first started. Thank God for growth.
Listen.
We go a long way. Hey, Mr. Mike.
Hey,
Mr.
hey.
So happy to see
favorite.
you.
It's a big surprise.
How you been?
Pleasant.
You been
Good.
Good. But I'm excited.
I'm super
Because we got a guest that's been here before, and today's episode is actually brought to you by Men's Mental Health Uncaved. And it just so happens that the founder and CEO, Mr. Erin Saul himself, is here today. Hey, Mr. Erin
Yay.
Saul.
Hello.
Yay. This is our brother. This is our brother. It's actually Leslie's Nola brother.
That's right.
It's your brother.
Little special bond, but
Yeah.
he's my Columbus, Ohio brother.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
and
right.
we're gonna take care of him, make sure he's okay.
Yes.
But we are loving the work that he's doing with his foundation, Men's Mental Health
Absolutely.
Uncaved. So we're going to be talking about men's mental health and how to be a brotherhood and a community. So, make sure that when you listen to this podcast today, this radio show, that you actually take notice of the resources
Yes.
and things that he's going to be talking about, especially if you have a loved one that's a male that's in need of brotherhood, community, and connection. And what I love about Men's Mental Health Uncaved is that they're actually serving the men in our community, but they're fostering brotherhood and connection and healing.
Yes.
So, that part, that healing part is what's important.
That's right.
So I'm going to let Mr. Erin Saul tell you a little bit about himself, because he has grown since he's been here. He started out, he came on as DJ Swmpthing.
That's right.
Now he's
That's
Mr.
right.
Erin Saul. So what's been going on with Mr. Erin Saul?
Listen.
Hey, what's going on, ladies? My
Hey.
favorite ladies. Getting a chance to sit next to them was always great. It's always a great time. And I'm always privileged to be sitting here with you two. And congratulations first on your 4th year.
Thank
That's a big move, big move. That's right. That's right. It's like the growth is real. The
It
growth
is.
real. But yes, like you said, I'm Erin Saul. I'm the founder and president of Men's Mental Health Uncaved right here in Columbus, Ohio. We are a nonprofit organization committed to getting brothers to talk more about mental health through the community of brotherhood, as you spoke on. Of course, obviously, we advocate for therapy, but our biggest thing is trying to get men to get a little bit more comfortable with at least talking to the community of brothers about mental health, creating those safe spaces with other men, young men, old men, mentors, just guys that create their own spaces to talk more about things that maybe, society and things around, life won't allow them to speak about. So, we're very, very privileged to be moving towards our 2nd year. Can't believe it's been that long already.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And we've been able to, be around almost 500 young men at this point, just through our monthly get-together, through our events that we hold a couple of times a year, through our virtual event that we hold a couple of times a year, and, creating more awareness about mental health in men, but not only just mental health. Now we're moving into, overall well-being, right? Mindfulness, taking care of your body, nutrition, things like that. So we're trying to, as we move forward, kind of wrap, a huge circle with men around all of those things, because they're all equally important, right? So, we've been able to kind of have a little more discussion about, exercise, nutrition, like I said, mindfulness, breathing, things like that we take for granted, right? Nobody thinks about breathing. We do it every day without thinking about it, but doing it intentionally is different.
Yeah.
So we talk about stuff like that as well. But yeah, we're, like I said, here in Columbus, Ohio, and just continuing to do the work.
That's awesome.
Can you tell us a little bit, though, about your certifications and things that you do? Because I know that, you went, like I said, from DJ Swmpthing to the CEO and founder, who's now actually doing the behind-the-scenes work. Like, you've gone out, you've educated yourself, which is so important.
Yeah.
So what are your certifications and your background?
Yeah, so anytime, let me start by saying, anytime that I speak to you specifically, it's always full circle, right? Because a lot of these conversations we've had before we've sat in this platform, like, when we say that we're family, that's a real thing. We're not just saying that for, for bluff or whatever, but I've always spoke about, if this was something that I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that I was educating myself as well, and just not, telling men or informing men about things and me not knowing for myself, or not trying to do things for myself. So, now in the last, maybe 6 months, close to a year, I've gotten a couple of certifications, mindfulness certification, a holistic nutrition certification, a couple of mental health certifications, especially for, the specific disorders and different things. Currently right now, I also have a health coach, but I'm currently doing life coaching.
Nice.
So I got maybe another 2.5 to 3 more months through ACE, which is one of the top, training and nutrition and mental health coaching corporations out there. So that's a blessing. And once that's done, then we have what's called actual LLC that's called Sons of Charlotte, Fundamental for Human Development. Charlotte is my mother's name. She passed in November of this past year. And what that's going to do is, as I mentioned, full circle, that's going to bring that and Mental Health Uncaved together to not only, again, get with men about mental health, but more focused on the overall well-being, right? So we'll have, hopefully clients and different men that'll come through there and learn about how, taking care of yourself in other ways can also help with your mental health, and tying all of those together. So that's coming soon, but yeah, that's I've been definitely in a studious mode
Kudos.
for the last few months, and some of them I can't even recognize, but I try to make sure that I make a mindful awareness of, hey, this is something that just a year and a half ago I wasn't even thinking about doing, and now just how serious, I surprised myself about just kind of how serious I'm taking it. And I've had to block out, which we'll probably get into, but I've had to block out a lot of things that didn't make any sense for me to think about or to take action upon, because it was just wasting my time.
Right.
And I didn't realize that until I started getting a lot more serious in this and said, okay, there's things that I gotta let loose, people I gotta let loose.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
and that was a choice that I made, and a lot of that wasn't easy, but I had to make, what did I want more, right? So yeah, that's kind of the education part of it. And like I said, hopefully the goal is to educate more men about all of these things that a lot of times we're fearful to talk about.
That's good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's good, Erin. That's so good. So tell us about your background and how you got started with MMHU.
Yeah, so from New Orleans, Louisiana, you heard me. You know what I mean? That's right.
You heard?
Do it
You
one more
heard
time.
me,
Do it one more
baby.
time for him. Yeah. But yeah, there we go. One more time. There we go. So that's it's again another full circle moment. Just being able to be here in Columbus and not only know other people from the city, but actually be close with those people from the city, and us being able to create our own village in this big village, we've been able to do so. Yeah, from New Orleans, I got here in Columbus in 2011, after being in Florida for a couple of years after Katrina. And the biggest thing to highlight is just from the time I got here in 2011, is really when I first kind of recognized things kind of slowed down. From Katrina to Florida, through Florida, I was just trying to get my life back on track. I was moving so fast, I really didn't give myself a chance to realize what had just happened over the last couple of years. But when I got here, because I didn't know anybody, there was nobody to turn to, there was no distractions really, I had to slow down. I had to sit and just look around to see where I was at, and how did I even get here, why am I here, all of that stuff happened. And because of it, there was some depression and some, anxiety and some shame and a little bit of everything that, I didn't feel like I had anyone to kind of roll that off of. Number one, I didn't know how to, talk about that. Obviously, I had my relationship with God, but even that was a struggle, trying to, talk to him about that and pray about that. So I turned to what was easier, right? And things that's everywhere, like corner stores and stuff like that. Just was easy to go to, a corner store and grab, a 6-pack, you know, and so that's what I did for a long time. I just got a warehouse job that I was able to get and come home and just, you know, kill a 6-pack of brews, you know, for, you know, 4 or 5 days a week. You know, I did that for 5 to 6 years, you know, and that was all that I kind of knew. I thought that was all that this was going to be. Just, you know, work hard, kind of any dreams and things that I thought I might have had or aspirations that I had when I was in New Orleans and Florida I thought kind of dwindled. God had other plans, I just didn't know it yet,
Yes,
right?
he did.
I just didn't know it yet. And so fast forward to, you know, I fast forward real up to, you know, the last couple of years, meeting, you know, a few folks from New Orleans and, you know, some family that was from there, and, you know, that felt good, you know, and just being able to hang around with them a little bit. And of course, they allowed me, I started DJing at that point, so they started allowing me to, you know, kind of DJ some of their events. One of their events I ran into Leslie, and that's how I met her, and, you know, things just kind of started to shift a little bit. And it shifted because I think I started to feel a little more confident, only because of I knew that people I knew there was a little group of folks who knew what it meant to be displaced.
Yeah.
Right? They were the only ones that I know for sure understood what that looked like.
Right.
And so that gave me a little bit of confidence, a little boost in my personality. And I always look forward to seeing them and being around them and stuff like that, even if, you know, it wasn't, you know, the event didn't matter as long as I was in that environment, right? And so fast forward some more, you know, just talking to, you know, Leslie and what her initiative was and the things that she wanted to do with mental health and as a nurse. Then of course meeting you and then, you know, listening to the two of you and the goals that you both had for mental health and some of the stuff you both were able to already do. And that was a sign right then and there. I didn't know it yet. I don't think we knew it at all, you know. But again, it was just God working, you know, getting me in a position to sit here today to talk about what we're talking about. And, you know, I mean, you guys know, you know, it was all about humility and just listening and being around, you know, people who were doing those things more consistently and understanding what it meant. And then, you know, I'll never forget it. And I said it Wednesday, and I always say this. We can talk about this for 20 years, looking forward 20 years, and I will always refer to this story because it is exactly it was exact steps to help to get me to where I am, and that is just having that conversation with y'all about how you wanted to do a mental health event for men, you just haven't gotten a chance to do that yet.
Right.
And y'all both gave me this look like, you up. I'll never forget it. You both gave it, and the look was so confident. Like you guys weren't like we were laughing, but y'all weren't. Y'all was serious.
Yeah.
Like you up.
Yeah.
God speaks.
Yeah, and and at that point, I don't think there was any conversation about that before then.
No.
Right?
No.
It was just it was a serious. I stopped playing you up.
Right.
And I was like, all right, because I had respect for what y'all were already doing. We kind of already bonded by that point, you know, and I was like, all right, well, let's do it then. And it was one of the best things that I was clearly, since I've been here, the best thing I've been able to do, because number one, it's helped me heal myself in a lot of ways. Still healing, still learning, but now I'm able to see with a wider eye about how important this is for men to stop playing,
Right.
and get with this mental health, get with this physical male well-being, this overall well-being, and take more control over your own life, your own situation, and you can do better. And that's what I love about coaching. Coaching is about, you know, it's all you, bro. I'm just here to cheerlead, really.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but this is all you.
Right.
You know, and there's nothing you can say or do that's going to be like, all right, well, I'm done with you. You know, no, I understand that there's going to be, every day's not going to be right, you know, but I'm still here to be like, you know, you got this, what else, you know, so, yeah, that's a long story, but it's important because it didn't just happen overnight. I didn't just decide to do this. I didn't go to a 4-year school to do this, you know, it was just how God lined it up, and it couldn't been any better.
He doesn't make mistakes.
No, that's right.
And I'm glad you said that, because you said, there's this need for men's mental health, because that's my next question. Like, what issues do you see in men's mental health and healing? Like, what's preventing our men from coming forward and say, I need help?
I think it's fear. I might have said something different a year ago, but I think that it's fear. And that's in every aspect of the word. Fear of being embarrassed, fear that nobody's gonna listen, fear that you're being saw, fear that, just fear. Fear of yourself, fear that you're gonna learn things about yourself that might scare you.
Yeah.
And that you don't wanna face.
Mm-hmm.
So I think fear is huge. And so because of that, it's really important to get other men that are going through it or have gone through it or understand, even if it's simple as therapy. I know that's, a huge thing men don't like to do either, and that whole stigma about therapy, but, talk to somebody who's lived through it or done through it, and so that you can understand that, no, it's a valid feeling, fear, right? Because I'm fearful. Some of the stuff I've learned about myself, I'm like, man, what? Come on, E. Like seriously. But you have to go through that to understand how you're gonna move forward.
Yeah.
Right. But to answer your question, it's just straight out, definitely fear.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said that too, because fear is not just for men; it's also for us, right?
Absolutely.
But we have, I feel like, more of a community.
Right.
Women do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's easier for me to call Ray and say, Ray, I'm having a bad day. This is what's going on. Versus you guys were taught to hold everything in.
That's right.
And man up.
Man up, don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, and I don't know if you would agree with this, but being vulnerable, I think
Definitely.
also keeps men from being able to just be comfortable and saying, I'm not okay. It's easy for me to call my best friend and say, girl, I'm not having a good day.
Right.
But that conversation, like, how does that conversation even happen with men?
Yeah. Definitely not calling you up and saying, man, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
For
So,
sure. Yeah, that's definitely different.
like, how do we break that stigma and get to the point where men feel comfortable to say, you can call Corey and say, Corey, today wasn't a good day for me, bro. You got a second?
Yeah.
You can just hear?
Yeah. I think that's one of the major points for us having our yeomen that we have every month at Sunday's Barbershop is to start to break that by everyone being vulnerable in person and making sure that there's no one in there but men. Right? It's not that we don't want women. I mean, you guys know the support of women is crucial, but in that setting, we have to have just us to make it easier. And it never fails that someone is listening to someone else talk about their background or their issues that they're having, and there's always somebody or people or men who are like, man, you too?
Yeah.
Right.
What? That happened too? And now you can see it with your eyes that they start to break, they let loose a little bit. They're like, oh, okay. So, okay, it's not just me.
Right.
And it makes them a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, that I think is practice, and I know that's maybe not the most appropriate term, but practice. Get with somebody that you do truly trust, another man you do truly trust, and practice calling them just to say that, just to say, hey man, you got a minute? I'm struggling right now. I need some help. Just practice that, and eventually, hopefully that'll become more. You'll be able to do it more easily with others. But get with another man that you truly trust, that you is going to hold you down in that way, and just say, hey man, I'm gonna call you like twice today, one in the AM, one in the PM, and I'm gonna just say this. And if a conversation sparks, great. If not, or you're busy or whatever, just try to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
Right. But practice that, and you hopefully will become more comfortable in saying it to those who you want to let in, but haven't, because you might not have had that conversation and that trust about, I don't know if I should say this because of blah blah blah, and then that's that fear again, right? That's that fear too. It's like I know we cool, right? But and again, I have said I'm not okay with some bras, and there's some bras that I still haven't done that yet,
Mhm.
and I want to,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's still like, man, I know this is my guy. We got blah blah blah, but I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if he ready. You
It's
know
a
what I
comfort
mean?
level.
There's a comfort level, exactly. But you know, again, going back to the yo man, I think having those circles and being in those groups for that time to talk about stuff like that should hopefully say, okay, well, to your question again, how do we take that outside of the group, right? And practice among the group, whatever the case may be. But you know, I would definitely encourage, and lastly saying, you know, again, not that we don't need our women's support, because we definitely do, but when you're gonna ask that question to a man specifically. Do you have time, because I'm struggling? You know, you got a minute, brother, because I'm struggling, and just see how that goes.
Yeah, that's good.
That's great.
That is.
So, healing is a one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the men that are listening and saying, okay, you know, this guy's turned his life around, he's doing great things, helping the community, I want to ask you this about you. What steps have you taken personally to help you with your own healing?
Yeah.
It might not help some people, but there may be a few people that's listening and say, you know what, let me try that.
Yeah.
You know, because if it worked for you, it may work for someone, it may not, but give them, you know, the tools that you're using, the resources that you're using to help you with your own personal healing.
You know, that's a great question. That's a great question, because there's levels. Because there was what I did when we first talked, and there's what I do now.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I'll keep it present. The education I'm getting and the certification I'm getting help. They also help for me. And there's a lot of aha moments when I'm reading.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. And
Start to see yourself.
Yeah.
exactly. And some of the some of the things that they, you know, want you to do, that like the test or whatever that I do, is like, man, okay, you know, you realize some things about yourself. So that's huge for me. Because again, it's that, okay, this isn't something that's just a fluke, right? Obviously, this is something that millions of people are going through, or else they wouldn't be educating you on it.
Exactly.
So that helps. Having more and more discussions. Like now, I'm having discussions about this a lot more often. You know, Wednesdays. You know, other day when I'm talking to the yo man once a month. You know, just a lot of conversation about it. Makes me feel like, number one, I'm on the right track. Number two, okay, these are things that I feel like now maybe I can give a little insight on, because I've kind of had a history with it. And practicing what I preach still. You know, anything that I'm telling men, or how we're having conversations about, I'm telling them to try out. I've tried out, or I'm trying out, or I'm doing. The breathing thing that I mentioned earlier, I do that a lot. You know, working out a lot more. Even when I first started working out, now I've doubled that. And it is not for any specific goal. It's just to align that with everything else that I'm doing, right? It's just, and it does help. I'm telling people that are listening, especially men out there, the physical aspect of getting your body healthy translates to your mind in ways you don't even know. It really, really does. And my anxiety is going down. The way that I think has changed. My conversation has changed. You know, just a lot of things is different. And I'm happy for that for me. Because at this point, my goal is to be at a level that 5 years ago, I would look in the mirror and say, that ain't you. Right? But now now it's like, yo, I see you, just keep going. Like, that is you.
That's you.
You know, and again, that can mean something, like you said, that can mean something different for anybody. You know, that's a very wide range of saying it, but whatever it is that you can do, that you experience, if it feels like it's working for you, then keep doing it. You know, praying, obviously, you know, for me, it's just about strength. It's about continuing to grow, and I'm still watching my emotions. I'm still watching my thought process when somebody might have run me the wrong way, or I overthink with Leslie said or what you said, and I'm like, come on, you know, because that's how I used to be. Like, honestly, like a lot of people would say things to me, and I would take little small things really personal because I would have a way that I think in my head is always supposed to go.
Unhealedness sounds like personal attack.
And
Yeah.
then when it doesn't go that way, it's like, bro or sis, like for real. And now I'm all in my feelings and not wanting to talk and this and they just going about their day because, you know, it wasn't like that. So that has helped. But that's also from more conversation about these topics, more dialogue about these topics, and having men that I can call and say, hey, you know, you got a minute, let me talk to you about some things. So it's a lot. It really is a lot. But I think in short, the education that I'm learning is helping a lot. The physical aspect is definitely helping a lot. The eating too is helping a lot. And I'm taking just overall health. You know, I've dealt with, you know, blood pressure for a while. Those numbers are decreasing a lot more now. There's other health issues that just by being consistent and taking care of my body are starting to go. And now again, I'm starting to see, you know what? The doctor's great. I'm not saying the doctor isn't great. I'm not saying that, but you can do it yourself.
Yes.
You can.
The goal is not to see the doctor.
That's right. That's right. And when I'll never forget when he first put me on the meds, I was like, Doc, I'm not gonna be on these things long. And he was like, yeah, I hear you. It's like, nah, I didn't want to be on them in the first place. So now that I'm on it, I don't want to be on them long. You know, and even that has changed. It took me a little longer than I want, but now that things have kind of shifted and I'm matured and, you know, in all those ways, yeah, that's the goal. It's like, man, I want to put these empty bottles on the shelf and just, this is what I used to be. So that's kind of things for me.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Yep.
I'm
Very
so proud of you.
appreciative.
From the time
Absolutely.
you sat here in season 3 to now, I'm just, God is good.
Yeah, all the time.
Yes. And yes, he was, glad you said that. So he was actually on season 3, episode 3. So if you want to check him out, go back and look at his first episode with us. And you will also see the growth. And I'm super proud of you. So would you just really quickly let us know how they can find you, follow you?
Yeah, www.mmhuoh.org.
Okay. And I am going to close out with our word of the day, which is Hebrews 10:24-25. It says, let us consider how to stir up one another for love and for good works, not neglecting to meet together, but encouraging one another. And that's what Men's Mental Health Uncaved does. It brings brotherhood, brings you together. So if you're looking for some resources, please refer to your Bible, Proverbs 27:7 for accountability, Thessalonians 5:11 for encouragement, Galatians 6:2 for service, and Psalms 133.1 for unity. And Leslie will close us off with the word of the day.
All right. Thank you, Erin. Appreciate you. So Luke 1:28, the angel said to her, rejoice, highly favored one. Yahweh is with you. Blessings are among women. Mary was told she was giving birth to the Savior of the world. You can't get any more favor than that. But with that blessing came a burden. She was favored but misunderstood. Favored but ridiculed. Favored but controversial. People whispered, she got pregnant before her wedding? On one hand, she's excited and can hardly believe the blessings. On the other hand, she must tell Joseph and face what her having her heart break, him having his heart broken. Sorry. Sometimes Elohim will ask us to do things that are difficult. It will be much easier to stay in our comfort zone and not rock the boat. But Elohim loves you too much to let you miss your destiny. He's saying you've been highly favored. I'm going to take you where you've never dreamed and open doors that you couldn't open. Focus on the blessing and not the burden.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Mr. Aaron, for joining us. And thank you guys for tuning in to Ray of Hope. And we will be with you again next Saturday.
So happy to be back. Love you, Ray.
Love you too. Thank you, Mr. Mike.
Thank
Bye,
you,
guys.
Mr. Mike. Have a good one.